This is a complicated matter. There are multiple law enforcement agencies and other things out there, and I don't know what all is going on, but it's a complicated situation.
The attorney for the man who recorded the video of the shooting death of Ahmaud Arbery was tight-lipped while speaking to reporters last night. Nick Sturdivant is live outside GBI headquarters in DeKalb County this morning. Nick, a lot of people had asked us about the person behind the video, and now this attorney says circumstances in the case have changed.
Yeah, that's right, Christy. And the only solid information that he was able to provide last night to reporters was that William Bryan, the man who recorded the confrontation and shooting, is not sleeping in his home, and that there will be another press conference today at noon, and hopefully he can provide more information. As for Gregory McMichael, one of the men charged in the shooting, we got a chance to go through his personnel file from the Brunswick County DA's office from 2014. The memo detailing McMichael found out he fell behind on his training hours and did not have the power to make arrests since 2006. In a letter detailing why he fell behind, McMichael says he had a heart attack, later colon surgery, a second heart attack, and having to declare bankruptcy due to mounting medical bills. We also found out District Attorney Jackie Johnson would later thank the state organization that oversees certification of police officers in a letter for helping McMichael receive a waiver so he could continue to serve as an investigator and regain proper certification. He would remain with the DA's office as a chief investigator until last February, retiring last June. We did reach out to the Brunswick County DA's office for a comment and to see if McMichael was making arrests when he could not make arrests. So far, we have not heard back from the Brunswick County DA's office. Christy.